Hey guys, welcome to my my little workshop, my little gun shop. I want to talk to you a little bit about trigger control, right? And trigger control is one of those things that it's where a lot of guys and gals screw up, a lot of shooters screw up, a lot of first-time shooters screw up because they just don't, and a lot of experienced shooters as well. They just don't understand trigger control, right? So one of the problems that we see with shooters, right, with new shooters, is the anticipation of the shot. The anticipation of the shot, right? So they either jerk the weapon back because they're expecting it to recoil, or they're jerking the weapon and they're jerking it down to the right. If they're left-handed, they're jerking it, down to the left. So they're jerking that trigger and they're not pulling the trigger, right? They're not massaging that trigger back. And that a lot of that has to do with not taking the trigger back to the wall. All right, and here's what I mean by that. Every weapon, every trigger has a wall. And that's the point in which the trigger goes all the way back right before it engages to release the firing pin. That's the wall, right? And you can tell because when you release that trigger, there's a click. You hear that click? That's the wall. If I release that trigger all the way, it goes all the way back, right? There's the wall, there's the trigger all the way to the front. This little bit of motion, this little ride, a lot of new shooters will actually let that trigger go all the way, pull their finger completely off the trigger, and then re-engage that trigger, and they have a longer pull on that trigger. So that longer pull tends to get the weapon to pull down into the right or down into the left. So you really want to pull that trigger back, get it to the wall, right? Get that trigger to the wall, and then take the shot. Real easy, smooth trigger control. And then when you rapid fire, you want to let that trigger go until you hear that click that's at the wall. Then you can follow up with a second shot. So when you're doing two shots, right? Double shooting, just boom, boom. It's that fast, but you're only taking that trigger out till it breaks that wall, and then you're coming back. That little tip, I will tell you right now, that little tip made me a better shooter. That little tip made me a better shooter. That little tip helped me to really put more rounds on target faster and get the weapon back to position faster than taking my finger completely off or bringing that trigger all the way up. So trigger control. Most important thing you can do as a shooter is have really, really good trigger control, taking that trigger to the wall and then pulling back from there. And it's really just that little bit of squeeze, right? That nice little easy motion of coming back. Don't jerk the trigger. Don't anticipate the shot, right? But take it back to that wall. I think you'll find that just that little bit of information, because I tell you what, guys, it changed my whole world when I started shooting that way, and that was taught to me by a chief when I was in the Navy. He down at the gun range, I'm out there and I'm just shooting and I'm hitting the target, but I don't have any real precision shots, right? I don't have any real good precision shots that are really, really tight groupings. They're kind of all over the place, right? I'm going like a 4-inch group or a 5-inch or a 6-inch grouping. That's just not where you want to be, right? You want them nice and tight. And that little bit of information, that little bit of knowledge that he passed on to me really transformed my shooting. It put my groupings in a much, much tighter circle. I was much more accurate, and so it helped me out a whole lot. So I hope that helps you. Just a little bit of tip. I hope you guys go out and try that because, like I say, it changed my life. I know it can change yours. Don't forget, guys, the more you practice, the better you will be. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button and the bell notification as well. Thanks. Bye-bye.